Hello everyone, my name is Dave and welcome back to Gaming with Dave. If you want to know how to flip items in Runescape 3, this is the video for you. Let's cue the intro. So flipping in Runescape is something that a lot of players try and do, but they get frustrated. What to flip, how to price items, what should I buy it for, what should I sell it for, should I just hit -5, -20 and then try to sell for +5, +20%? You know, maybe there is a method of doing that. I'm not aware of it, but today what I want to do is I want to teach you a method where you will be able to use this method, A, to identify what items are good flips, and also B, to know exactly what you need to buy and sell items for in order to make a profit, how to calculate that profit, and really how to go about a flipping method that can really work in nearly every setting. And while you kind of actively play, you know, this isn't going to be something that is going to take you, 20 hours to learn or anything like that. I promise after watching this video, you will be able to implement this process almost immediately. The only real pre-requirement is that you have a little bit of gold on you. Maybe you need 4, 5, 6, 10 mil at the most. So if you have a need to get that amount of GP, check in the description below, and there will be a little bit of money-making guides. So everyone, let's roll to the video. Okay, so your first step is to pick an item that you actually want to try and flip. Now, every flipper has their own items. I have my own items that are very reliable that you can flip on a consistent basis. I'm not going to give you that here because it would crash the prices if everyone were to go to the exact same item, but it would also give opportunity for other items. In this example, we're going to just look at just normal logs. All right, so what you want to do is you want to create a buy order for your logs, and then you want to sell that log. Now, one thing that you'll notice really quickly is that the difference in the average GE price and the price that I am buying the item for is substantially different. Essentially what I do is I mash the 20% button several times until the item is buying for well above what we know it would buy for. And then I'm doing the exact same thing on the sell side. You're trying to sell it for substantially lower than you would sell it for. Now, what will this do? Doing this will allow us to see the difference, the potential profit, and we'll talk about that in a second, of an item. For these normal logs, you'll see that there's a 6 GP difference between our sell price of 501 and our buy price of 507. Now, this doesn't seem like a lot when you're talking about a regular log, and by the way, they're usually better, so they are sometimes a good flip item. You can see here that, Guams have a 46 GP difference and Irits have a 380 GP difference. Now, these were based when I actually did it. Your numbers may vary. So you always want to price check an item in this manner and get your buy and your sell prices every time you look at doing a flip. So your theoretical max profit is your GP difference that you calculated in understanding your difference of your items when you bought an item for much, much, much more than you would normally buy it for and sold it for much, much, much lower than you would normally sell it for to determine your buy and your sell orders. Now remember, your buy order when you are going to buy a flip item is how much you sold it for on the low end, with a little bit of a caveat, and we'll explain that later. And your sell price is going to be the price that you bought your item for. Now, when you look at flipping, you can see that there's tremendous amounts of profits to be made. If we look at these Guams, it's 3.8 mil GP that you can end up making just on this single flip alone. Now, don't get caught up in these profit prices. Sometimes the best and most profitable flips are the ones that you can do quickly that yield you low profit. So for example, when we look at logs, they are usually a pretty good flip because they have a high transaction volume and move fairly quickly. So don't get too caught up in the actual max profit numbers. This is just to give you an idea of how to calculate ROIs and all this type of stuff. So how do you actually price your buys and your sells? So just to recap this one more time, your buy price is the amount that you were able to sell your item at the very, very low end, and your sell price is the amount of money that you were able to buy the item for at the high end. This is really, if you want to look at it, where your competition lies. Somebody is buying items at the low price, and somebody is selling items at the high price. The profit that you can make and how you want to properly price your items is to place a buy order just above your buy price and to place your sell order just below the sell price. What this means is that when somebody sells their item at a low price, you're the first person in line. And when someone goes to buy a price for much higher than they normally would, then your item is just below the maximum, which means that you're going to get that sale. Now, when you're looking at it, the tighter that you price items, okay, so the closer you get to the middle of the difference, all right, the faster the flip will typically be. This isn't always a bad thing because obviously there's less profit that comes with this, but it does mean that over time you'll actually force your competition in this flip to get tighter and tighter and tighter, which means that the flip will actually stop working. So this isn't always advisable. I believe there's a little bit of an etiquette for flipping. At least I haven't seen anyone really squeeze flips that much. But just know that if you need to get rid of a flip quicker, or you need to do a flip quicker because of time constraints, well, this is the way you do it. And so to put this in practice, here's a perfect example. I was able to buy a clean Irrit for 3,001 GP, and subsequently I was able to sell said clean Irrit for 3,379 GP. And this happened in the matter of about 30 seconds. I only bought one and sold one just for example purposes, but you could have done this to the buy limit. And I think I'm just going to go flip the rest of these now, at least up to my buy limit. But this is just an example to show you. So some tips for the new flipper out there or the seasoned vet. It's my opinion that you shouldn't leave buy orders open overnight when you go to sleep. The RuneScape market is erratic on certain items, and you don't want to get caught in an item that's decreasing in value. You buying it for what was the low price but is now the high price, and then you have to potentially take a loss on the item. Now, with this method of flipping, the risk of losing money is usually fairly low, but still you don't want to chance it. In flipping, quantity over quality will win the day. It's better to flip more items than it is to get an item that has a high GP per profit. Usually, there's a reason why there's a big difference in items, and typically speaking, the reason there's a big difference in the price of items is because there's a lower trade volume. That's not true in every single instance, but often it is. If an item isn't selling, simply lower the price. Now, you don't have to lower the price much. It might only be 1-2 GP at a time for an item that has a lower margin. If you're flipping items that have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10,000 GP margin, maybe lower at 250 GP, something along those lines. And a suggestion for everyone, flip while doing other tasks. This stuff does not happen instantaneously, and if you're sitting waiting for an item to either buy or sell, you might get a little impatient and sell something lower than it otherwise would if you went and did a Slayer task, for example. So, everyone, thank you so much for watching The Theory of Flipping. Remember, buy low, sell high, make some money, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you don't have enough money to start flipping, check out some of my other money-making guides. You really only need 5, 6, maybe 10 mil GP in order to start flipping effectively. So have a great day. Bye.
Rose.